Travis Wayne Goodsell. According to YouTube's analytics, the rising generation of Mormons do not come to my videos. This suggests to me that the younger generation of Mormons don't use YouTube. They most likely use Facebook, Twitter, whatever other app is out there. Or the church has successfully brainwashed them into ordering them to stay off social media and only trust the church for reliable information about church history. But there are always those exceptions who sneak through, such as Kelly Johnson. I'm not sure if he's the guy or the woman, the wife, but they've got a little baby. Can't distinguish male or female. Got a white little cap on. But I'm being bullied by Mormons, this rising generation, these Alma and the sons of Mosiahs. He claims I don't know my scriptures, by the way. We'll get into that. So yes, this is a comment review. And I had to ban him. This was from my old channel, which I don't have management capabilities because YouTube has banned me from it, but I can use it to watch others. But this is what the church has done to me. And this is what Kelly does not understand. The video he came to is the LDS dates for the return to Independence, Missouri. The one that has over 37,000 views since July 2017. So he's a little late in the game, clueless about the bigger picture. I'm assuming it's the guy. It could be the girl. But I've known many guys with the name Kelly. And so I have no idea. I'll just refer to it as him. I guess maybe if I were to check their channel to see if they put up any videos, I'd get an idea of whether it's the man or the woman. I don't know. Not my concern. But the email of his comments are the full versions. The ones that I saw on the YouTube channel where I had to ban him and remove the notifications so I don't have the numbers piling up to 99 and then it stays 99. And so I'm reading from my Gmail, my old, or the original Gmail for the old account, and so I can't put up the last day of the First Vision Bicentennial Year video until I finish this and exit out of this account. And since you are unaware of it anyway, and you won't find out about this until after I've already put up that video, nobody should be upset that I'm doing this video first, because you're so desperate to want to watch the other video. But this is the kind of abuse that I've had to deal with as a Mormon, by Mormons. I mean, the church has paid for assassins to have me assassinated. They've destroyed my life financially, socially, family, and church, business. And yet they still keep going to destroy until I'm completely suppressed or dead. That's how the church operates. Anybody who tells you otherwise, even if it's you who said, well, church has never tried to assassinate me, I think you're lying, Travis. I'm sorry, you're not going to convince me otherwise. I have the scars, I have the medical doctor's reports from the emergency room. And then we have the coronavirus, where the church, in order to get to me, are taking down all of you with me. So, are you going to blame me, or are you going to blame the church? Take your pick. I know Mormons want to blame me. Travis, why don't you just conform and comply? Just go hide in a rock somewhere. Leave the church alone. Church is true. Let them get away with whatever they want, because they're from God. So, here, this is Kelly Johnson, without any further ado. Trump has been an instrument in God's hands. Oh, dear God. See, the news has sort of brushed on this. They don't really go into it. They're being told not to. The news is being told not to investigate, to find out what Trump is up to. That should scare all of us. And as a result, you get these nutcases who then believe that Trump is an instrument in God's hands. In order for Trump to be an instrument in God's hands, he's got to be following God. Otherwise, you can say that Lucifer is an instrument in God's hands. Do you understand how that works? Nobody can be an instrument in God's hands unless they listen to God and follow Him and do as He asks them and makes it happen. Trump is not doing that. He is far from a godly, Christ-like person. And so, right off the bat, Kelly is the one who's deceived and delusional. One major example, he's trying to double down, is him bringing the embassy to Jerusalem. How is that an instrument in God's hands? I've gone over, Joseph Smith had nothing to do with Jerusalem. It's America. So what does it matter about an embassy? That's all Christian thinking. That the end of the world's going to be in Jerusalem, not America. And recognizing it as Israel's capital. It's a sign of the last days. Oh yeah? Where? Which scripture? Which sign? Where? Tell me. Where? The LDS Church has been found guilty? Really? Which is interesting. Because this was back in July 2017. LDS dates for the return to Independence, Missouri. I don't recall ever putting LDS Church has been found guilty. I don't understand what he's referring to. And that leads me to suspect he's watched another video and is using this one to attack me on. Because this one, there was no guilt yet. I hadn't done research on the church yet. That was a few months away. So the church isn't guilty of anything yet at this point. And so then he goes on, really, you're going to agree with those critical of Christ's restored church. See, he's assuming I am listening to other critics of the church and that I'm forming my belief system based on the hearsay of those other critics. If you've not been paying attention to my videos, I don't agree with the critics. I'm critical of the church for my own reasons. I've done my own investigation of church history. And yet, he's projecting. Because what he is doing is agreeing with the church and Mormons who favor the church. See how that works? When you make a false accusation, you expose yourself. You got to judge righteously. You can't be hasty. You can't be false. And Kelly has fallen for that. That's a rookie mistake of the rising generation of Alma and the sons of Mosiah. And accuse it of investing its resources. Here's the video. And receiving a return multiplier every year instead of putting it in a bank whose return is less than inflation. See, that's the video he's referring to. The one about the whistleblower. That is not on this old channel. Why is Kelly Johnson coming to this video on this channel about the whistleblower that didn't happen until last December on this channel that this video is on, TWG? Kelly, you naughty boy. See, he's not doing it on my channel. He's making his comments on my old channel. See, now you understand the bigger picture, don't you? Isn't it amazing? And he did it on my old channel because he knew that YouTube had shut me down. Naughty, naughty, Kelly. And then he's now doing an ad hominem. You're a detractor. Detractor? Detractor from what? Are you not a detractor by saying the church is true? Deceiving people? Are you not a fraud, as you now add the and? An antichrist modern day Korihor. Exactly what I've been telling you guys. This is the abuse of Mormonism. This little young whippersnapper. I have no idea what a whippersnapper is. That's from my grandparents' generation. As I'm a grandparent now, who never gets to see his kids because the church destroyed my families. Families can't be together forever in the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. You'll never get to be with your own family. And Lucifer has shown us how this be. Making it up as I go. But yeah, Korihor, as I've decoded from the Book of Mormon, because I'm not listening to LDS critics, am I? There's not a single LDS critic who has informed you that the Book of Mormon is encoded. Korihor is Johann Adam Weishaupt, the one who started what became the Gadianton band of robbers and murderers and thieves, who destroyed the nation of the Nephites. This is the warning to us in America that his organization is going to destroy America. And they gave us the dates, as I've been telling you, 2017 to 2024, 2020 being the middle of it all when the virus breaks out. And so, Antichrist. Again, I have to remind everybody what the definition of an Antichrist is. If you assume that your Christ's understanding and interpretation is the only one that's correct, you are an Antichrist. You have to believe in the correct Christ. So technically, I'm an anti-Christian Christ. I'm an anti-current Mormon Christ. I'm an uncertain about Jewish Christ. It depends on how much of the Babylonian influence Christ that we're talking about here. But at least the Jewish Christ is closer to the true Mormon Christ of Joseph Smith. And so it's not just that you are against Christ, because that acknowledges that you believe that there is a Christ. Even though the Antichrist in the Book of Mormon say there's no such guy, he will never come. But that's part of an Antichrist, is that it's not just that he doesn't believe in any kind of Christ, because Christ in and of itself is a king. And so they're specific about what they're referring to here, is that they're referring to certain religions' interpretations of who the latter-day Christ is. And the Book of Mormon makes it very clear, it's our intention to have you come unto the true Christ, not all these other Christs that you're being indoctrinated with. And Kelly has fallen victim to that, as he is the Antichrist, even as his projection tells him he is as well. And so then he goes, you claim to know the scriptures and follow the prophets, but you do not live them. Excuse me? Where in scriptures are you supposed to defraud and claim that I'm this horrible, evil person when you yourself are clueless about anything Mormonism, as you just listen to whatever the church tells you to believe and then interpret it in your own way? Got a hair bugging me. So that was part one. So let's go to part two. And he still did it on the same one. And so he had seen the video about the whistleblower thing that I'm covering. You know, the whistleblower had his own videos. Several of them I linked them to for you in the description below. But apparently Kelly was not satisfied and didn't bother to look. So here's his message to all of you. Yeah, isn't that nice? Isn't that what the Christian thing to do is? All you people The high priest is a false prophet. Denounce him. Follow me. I will tell you what the truth is. Caiaphas is wrong. Yeah, that's Matthew, isn't it? No. It's whenever a Pharisee came to him and complained. That's when he went off on him. Matthew 23. Kelly, you're a Pharisee. He says, this man is not, all caps, a Latter-day Saint. Oh, yeah, nobody is in the Mormon Church anymore, because Nelson says Lucifer wants us to use the nicknames, and so Jesus has now ordered that Brigham Young to Nelson has been wrong, and that now we are supposed to use the full name in order for Jesus to be happy. Because Jesus has not been happy since Brigham Young. You do understand, Brigham Young and the other prophets referred to us as Mormons. It was Nelson's talk as an apostle where he got fixated on using the correct name of the church. And we now understand that it has to do with the analytical programs on computers, computer sites, so that they can suppress critics. Anyway, in the video description, he says the Utah Mormons will go back to Independence, Missouri. This is false. Yeah, I even had to correct myself on that as I discovered church history and found out it's Southern Illinois. But section 103, verse 16, there will be a Mormon exodus away from Utah. Sorry, Mormons. Kelly is false. He's a false prophet. Don't follow him. This man, Kelly Johnson, or woman, unclear, is not a Latter-day Saint. She is false. The 10 tribes of Israel are being gathered in their own lands. Yeah, so that was because of Brigham Young and subsequent prophets. Actually, it wasn't Brigham Young, was it? It was subsequent, like Wilford Woodruff or somebody, because they didn't want to do a gathering anymore. Done on purpose, because they're the enemy. As our modern day prophets have clearly said. See? Once you have a false belief system, everything else must conform and comply to your false beliefs. Otherwise, your belief system is shattered. That's why Mormons who find out something that doesn't fit their belief system, they go through a faith crisis and leave the church. It's a real simple concept. All ex-Mormons know it, don't you guys? But Kelly Johnson, not aware yet, still clueless on how this all works. Because he's still believing that the prophets are true. Let's see, he said during General Conference, how large do you think Missouri is? Huh? What? What? Most of his comments are hateful, prideful. Whose? The 10 tribes of Israel are being gathered in their own lands, as our modern day prophets have clearly said during General Conference. Most of his, you mean theirs? He's claiming I'm being hateful and prideful. Isn't that the easy go-to for a Mormon apologist using ad hominem attacks, which are fallacious arguments because they have no substance to any claim for what they are claiming? That's the fallback emotional response. And so, again, this video, LDS dates for the return to Independence, Missouri, it's harmless to Mormons. It's before I became a critic. It's before the church went on their assault. Well, they did. Well, it phased assaults over time. The most recent. So again, what is hate? Is it to go on their channel through another video rather than the one that you were watching that triggered you? Again, what is hate? It's where you want to destroy another person who has done nothing wrong. And so there's all kinds of different hates. Bigoted hate, sexual hate, racial hate, privileged hate, or poverty hate, yeah, hate is when you falsely accuse somebody. Well, no, yeah, when you're the hater, yeah, you make the false accusation. And he's obviously unaware of what pride means, because that's his will rather than God's will. Again, if you're listening to God, you're not proud, you're not prideful, you're not hating. And this is what Mormons do to twist to justify what Brigham Young did. Brigham Young was a racist. You can't escape that. The church even confesses. He was just a man, and there were things in the culture back then that it had Brigham Young embraced blacks, that the church would have been threatened with extinction. Yeah, so was polygamy. And in fact, the United States did extinguish the LDS Church, as they had to reform a whole new religion in 1923. And so it's Kelly who's the one who's projecting hate. This is a hate comment. He's attacking me for no reason. Again, he needed to do it on the video where I talked about the whistleblower, which is what he's referring to. Instead, he came to this one, which was Mormon neutral, Mormon friendly, to attack me. Because this is my most popular video. Do you see how he did that? This is an evil man, thinking he knows how to manipulate the system to destroy me. That is pure hate. And so here he then agrees with me. Yes, we are to look for the signs and the times of his coming. Who's coming? You're an antichrist, remember? You believe he comes from outer space on a flying horse? Seriously? Really? But we need to look elsewhere than here. Huh? Where else should we look? Brigham Young talked about astrology. Should we look there? He was a prophet of God, as you claim. Let's go into astrology, because Brigham Young said it's okay. Our resources, bingo, should be to our Book of Mormon and Bible and Latter-day Revelation. Did I not talk about the Book of Mormon here? First Nephi chapter 1, Lehi's dream. He sees John's Revelation 12, sign of the Son of Man. And then he also sees, in a combo of the dream, Revelation 19 of Jesus on Pegasus flying down from space. It's all code. Even the Smiths knew not to put it in the Book of Mormon as the real information. They had to keep it in the code. Anybody who knows their Bible, knows their Book of Revelation, would look at that passage about Lehi's dream and go, oh, that's Revelation. Oh, wow, this is the latter days. And yet, not a single Mormon catches it. So, who's using the Book of Mormon as their resource? Nobody but me. Including the churchofjesuschrist.org website. Get that link off my channel. I do not allow anybody to link to an evil linkage of misinformation and disinformation. Unless there's something that people want to inform me of, such as the Anonymous Latter-day Saint or the Anonymous Mormon. Which one is it? The Anonymous Mormon, I think it is. Yeah, he can post things because I know that I can rely on his information to inform me of what's going on, because he's earned my trust. Kelly, however, has not. See, there is no... Here. There are plenty of resources concerning the last days and signs of his coming there. Oh, like what? Name one prophet or apostle who have indicated that the signs of the second coming have happened. And you can't use Hinckley way back in 2001. When he talks about the prophecies of Joel have all been fulfilled. No, they haven't. You jumped the gun. None. Not Monson nor Nelson. Not anybody else in the apostles during all this time period. From 2016, when they should have been saying, hey, we just had the lunar eclipse tetrad. That's the precursor sign for the second coming signs that are coming our way. And the church should have been leading the world in announcing, hey, here it is, this is it. But instead the church came out and said, nope, there are no signs in the heavens, this is not the second coming. And instead they keep saying, oh, the second coming's soon, sometime soon, keep watching, soon, don't look at the signs in the heavens, it's soon. And how many centuries more do we have until it's now finally here? So here he goes. Our prophets and apostles have shined light. They've covered it up. That's what the whole Gospel Topics essays are about. How they've confessed to covering up, lying and deceiving us. On these signs, yeah, I had to look for it myself because they didn't shine light on them. Do you not understand this? When you don't talk about something when everybody else knows it's obvious, people have no choice but to go to other sources, such as my 37,000 view video, which was way before all I've learned since. And now YouTube is preventing you guys from finding out the updated information. The only popular one is Nelson changes the temple text again so that the law of chastity may or may not be about polygamy anymore. We still have yet to find out. Anybody who's been through the temple recently in their stage 3 assassination thing, please let us know. Put it out there. Did they change the law of chastity back to the original? Or is it still God's law? Because God's law, section 132, polygamy, 10 virgins. You're lacking 9 virgins, Kelly. Assuming you're the guy. But yeah, that's where the church fails its Mormons. That's why Mormons are leaving. Is because Mormons are recognizing things. And the church is in denial. They're in silence. They're not telling Mormons. And Mormons are like, hey, things are getting bad. And the church says, oh yeah, we had bad stuff in our day. Hello? Signs in the heavens are never going to happen again. This is it. This is all. Yes, the Saturn and Jupiter are going to be close again in 2080. But that's not a Bible sign. The total solar eclipse in Leo at the star Regis, which is the king star. Never, ever again. Never, ever before. It was a once-in-existence event. Then the sign of the Son of Man. Once-in-existence event. The sign of the dragon. Once-in-existence event. The sign of the tail, or the stars falling from the tail of the dragon. Once-in-existence event. Especially when Monson died with it. Do you not understand? Once in an existence, signs in the heavens, all joined together. And the prophets are silent and confusing Mormons, claiming that it's not happening. Reality isn't real, truth isn't true. Move along, nothing to see here. Make sure you keep paying your tithing, because he's coming soon. From outer space on a flying horse. Do you see what they've done to Kelly? We only need to seek it out to find it. That's exactly what I've done. But do so aware of where the information is coming from. Truth, science, hard science is truth. All truth comes from God. The modern day prophets and apostles are covering up, lying, and deceiving, which doesn't come from God. Not a hard question to answer. Please choose your resource for learning more of the signs of our Savior's second coming. See again, Antichrist, there is no second coming. Joseph says it's a first to restore the old kingdom from a more credible source than here. Yep. Mr. Credible knows about credibility, doesn't he? Alrighty. So I took too long on this one. But, I don't know. If I can bring but one soul to the truth, how great shall be my reward in heaven, right? Is there one listening? I know I'm the anonymous Mormon, but... And then there's... the Swede. And a couple others. But my God, I mean, Nelson is slaughtering us this year with the coronavirus. Ross. His narc is so harsh that it... So that's the end of this video. So just to fill you in on what Russ was knocking for, it's because he got his $600 from the government. So I'm still waiting for an email for mine. Goes through a third party. Alrighty.